Come on, Annie. Let's go to the movies.
This is the Cinereelists, episode 667. My name is Kyle.
My name is James.
My name is Zach.
And we're here to talk movies, movie lists, and movie obsession for the next hour or so. Are you guys recovered from our hangover?
Oh, yeah.
I'm recovered.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It felt light to me.
It was a light hangover?
It felt like it.
I think it's because James wasn't feeling well last week.
Sure.
And that kind of set the tone.
We didn't get our normal bubbly James.
Exactly. And
Your
when James
normal
isn't
bubbly
bubbly,
James.
it just kind of brings the whole show down.
I've heard this before that I generally light up every room I walk into. So
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure. For sure.
definitely. I don't know. I had fun. It didn't feel off to me.
Oh, no, I had a
Didn't
great
feel-
time.
No, didn't feel off to me either.
Oh, okay. I don't know what you guys are saying then.
James.
I think we're saying we've had worse hangovers.
Oh, okay. Yes, me too.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Are we talking about the episode or the health condition?
What do you think?
I was talking about the episode.
Oh, okay.
The
I don't-
health condition.
I feel like the episodes are the same every year.
I mean, it literally is the same format.
Right. Health condition. I've had worse hangovers.
Is a
For sure.
hangover a health condition?
No, absolutely not.
It's a
It's a-
condition of your health
It's a physiological response.
It's not a
related
condition of
to
your
how
health.
well you feel.
Health is like climate, and hangovers are weather.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
What?
Like
Kyle,
James,
Kyle followed me.
weather versus climate, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so for example, you'll hear climate deniers be like, "Well, it snowed in July." I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's weather. That's not climate." Like,
Right, but if you were if you were currently in the middle of a hangover, you'd be like, my health is being affected.
yeah, but it's not a condition. Like, I don't know, alcohol poisoning. That's a health condition.
Yeah, I mean,
a
I'm
hangover
not saying
is just
that's not a health condition. I'm saying a hangover is as well.
a hangover is dehydration from alcohol.
Anything that's like affecting your health currently is a health condition.
Okay, then if I will stipulate that a hangover is a mild health condition,
There you go. If you
but
have
it's
to,
not a chronic health condition.
it is if you're an
No.
alcoholic.
Not a
Well,
health
no,
condition.
alcoholism. That's the that's
health
the condition
conditions
there.
have to affect your health, right? So if we're saying it's a negative health factor,
Mhm.
then a healthy person who has a hangover, you would have to say during the hangover is unhealthy. But I maintain that a healthy person could be hungover.
Is a headache a health condition, Zach?
No, to be a condition, it has to be a
Chronic?
No, yeah, it has to be
Okay,
chronic,
so it
in
does have to
some
be chronic
sense.
now. Okay.
In some sense, it has to be chronic or
I don't
acute.
know.
Okay. Okay.
What if you thought it was those things, right? I'm not even talking about a hangover. Let's say some other health condition. You thought it was one of those things. And then it went away. Are you
So
then
you
going to retract that you called it a condition the entire time? Because
So
it did
you
go away.
So you think you have lupus, but then it turns out you didn't. Is that what you're
Right.
saying? So
Yeah.
no, you did not have a health condition. You would
Or you-
retract your health
Or
condition.
no, let's say you had lupus and then it was magically healed.
Yes, you had a health condition,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then it magically went away, which breaks the normal way that these things happen.
I had a hangover and then it magically went away.
Not magically though.
It magically.
Oh well, if
No,
it
I didn't
magically,
do anything to make it go away.
that's not what magic is. If it magically went away and you would still have it had not the magic occurred, then I would say it's a health condition.
I would also argue that hangovers don't magically go away. They go away with time, and that's just that's how one way you cure hangover
Of
is
course.
time.
Of
So
course.
yeah, like I don't know much about lupus, Parkinson's disease, right?
Do you know a lot more about Parkinson's disease?
Well, I know a lot more that like it's not. Can you treat lupus? I don't know. Is lupus treatable?
It's treatable. It's not curable. It's treatable.
It's treatable. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's go with Parkinson's. Everyone knows that's not curable. I don't know why we're going with Parkinson's. That's a health
Michael J.
condition.
Fox.
Right.
That's why. You know, I'm sure there's not many, but there might be some listeners listening to this episode of this podcast. Like this is like their first episode, and they don't even know what a hangover is, other than the health condition. Like
Other than the body's response to alcohol.
For the fact that the last episode is called The Hangover, and what it was, and how it started this conversation.
I mean,
Are you searching something, Zach?
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
How many new listeners are we getting because we reviewed the French 3-hour epic, The Count of Monte Cristo?
I don't know. The Three Musketeers episodes we've done have done pretty good on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Maybe
because not a lot of podcasts are talking about them.
I think that's part of it.
And we're talking about them, and we make them wait. We don't give them the Count of Monte Cristo right away.
Right. Make him sit through 10 minutes of debating.
He had to wait like 14 years in a prison.
Oh yeah. If Edmond Dantes has some patience, then you, new listener, can have some patience too.
Yeah. Sure.
Welcome to Cinereelists, where we berate our listeners for being impatient.
Hopefully they won't seek revenge against us. The three villains.
Well, only if they can find a cave full of treasure.
Yeah.
That was kind of integral to the whole plan.
Yeah, I have an issue with
riches.
That cave of treasure.
Okay, don't go into it yet.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Like it was awesome. Is that your issue?
No.
I'm a sucker for Cave of Treasures. If a movie has a Cave of Treasures, I am so in. I want more Caves of Treasures.
Right, you want him to spend more time. Like let's Scrooge McDuck that, right? Why aren't we swimming through that?
Why did he not swim through it? I have no idea. We know he's a good, strong swimmer. He should have been swimming through the gold.
If you can swim through water, you can swim through gold.
We know
not
this.
a problem.
We
understood.
all know this. Welcome to episode 667 of the Cinereelists.
2/3.
We are 2/3.
Yeah, 66.7.
No, 667.
Yeah, 2/3.
Yeah, 2/3 of the way to 1,000.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Zach, I recovered there for you.
Thank
you.
In this episode, we are going to discuss the Academy Awards, the upcoming Academy Awards. The nominations were announced a couple weeks ago. We haven't really talked about them amongst each other, and so we're going to do that. Right after that, we will be talking the new Count of Monte Cristo film, a French film that you can watch on VOD right now. Before we jump into all that, though, I need to remind you there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go check it out there. Watch while you listen. You could also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Cinereelists. Support the podcast. Get extra after show audio, amongst other Cinereelist swag. You could leave us an Apple podcast review. We'd appreciate that. 5 stars only. If you haven't done that yet, please do so. Also, send us a listener email to heyguys@cinereelists.com, REEL with an S on the end. Send a comment, a question, a list suggestion, a movie suggestion, any of those kinds of things. We appreciate receiving via email, and we will reply to it live on a future episode of the podcast. Links to any and all of those things are in the description of this episode. You guys ready to jump into Oscar talk?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So, the 97th Academy Awards. We're 3 away from the size of my TV. They'll be hosted by Conan O'Brien. Let's start there. We haven't had, right? Did we have an MC last year?
Kimmel.
Oh, right. It was the 2 years before that we had no MCs, right?
2 years before that, we had no MC, but they did bring out celebrities to announce things. But there wasn't a master ceremonies.
Sure. How do you guys feel about Conan O'Brien doing it? Has he ever done it before?
No.
Not the Oscars.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Seems
like a weird time for him to do it.
Why?
Because he's kind of past his
Oh no, he's more popular than ever.
You think he's more popular than ever?
The podcast, it's the #1 podcast. I think him and Joe Rogan are like neck and neck.
Really? He's bigger than Joe Rogan?
I think his podcast is doing very well.
He may be number 2 to Joe Rogan, but he's up there. Yeah, I think there is a large audience that just knows him as a podcaster. I also think it's a safe pick because I don't listen to his podcast. I don't know how much he gets into politics on his podcast, but I know like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert and a lot of the late night hosts have waded into politics. And I think the Oscars is trying to remain neutral.
Okay.
And I think Conan is their neutral pick.
I'd say he's pretty neutral. Every now and then he makes a dig on his podcast, at least the ones I've heard about Trump, but they're definitely not focused on that or like the majority of his jokes by far.
And he hasn't Trump has not called him out online to my knowledge. It's not someone that Trump started a feud with.
Yeah. He's also not a competing talk show host like to ABC.
Oh, good point. Yep.
I'm sure that probably helps too, that he has like no competing television show.
I was a little surprised they didn't bring in John Mulaney after he did his great Field of Dreams rant last year. Because he seems to have the perfect energy and voice and movie nerdum for that role.
Sure. I could see it. I guess I'd be okay with that, although I've heard a couple John Mulaney like stand-up albums and they were like, fine. Didn't do anything for me. But I know people like him, so. Wasn't he on SNL?
He was a writer for SNL.
A writer.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're all on board with Conan. They made nomination announcements. Before we go through them kind of one by one, the movie with the most nominations was Amelia Perez, which didn't make any of our end of the year lists, despite having access to it on Netflix. I know it came out in March on Netflix, and I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw it on lists towards the end of the year, but like it wasn't like on every list. You know what I mean? It was like it would just kind of randomly appear here and there. So it wasn't high on my priority list. And then, man, 13 nominations is kind of crazy if you think about it.
What's the record for most number of nominations?
I believe it's 13. I think there's a bunch of movies that are tied with it. Let's see.
I think it's second place. I thought 14 was the record, but I can't tell you what has 14.
Like Titanic, maybe?
I thought that only had 11.
Return of the King?
Maybe Return of the King. I'm sure Zach is Googling as we speak.
I think Zach's looking it up.
I'm
not looking it up because I think he's looking it up.
14.
Okay.
Titanic, La Land, and Eve.
Eve?
Okay. Oh, so Titanic was 14.
Okay. That's why.
All About Eve.
All About Eve.
All About Eve.
I've heard of All About Eve. I have that one over there. I need to, I should watch it.
It's a good one.
It's good?
Okay.
Yeah.
If you guys say so, I'll get to it someday when I'm binging my 1950s movies. What were can you tell us, Zach, the other movies that have had 13 nominations before?
Let me look that up.
Okay. Right behind Amelia Perez, the next two movies with the most nominations was Wicked and The Brutalist. They had 10 each, both including Best Picture. Behind that, A Complete Unknown and Conclave had 8 nominations.
Okay, finally a movie I've seen, Conclave.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Netflix, as a studio, came away with 16 nominations. But when you consider that 13 of those were Amelia Perez.
Right.
It's not really that many. They basically had Amelia Perez had a ton, and then there's like 3 other nominations somewhere in there for other movies.
For like a short or something like that. Yeah. It's definitely all their eggs in one basket kind of situation for Netflix.
For sure. Then A24 had 14 nominations, which was the next biggest studio. But if you consider studio conglomerates, all right,
Okay.
Comcast had 25 nominations this year.
Who does Comcast own?
Comcast owns DreamWorks,
Okay.
which had a bunch of nominations with Wild Robot.
Yep.
They own Focus Features, which they had a bunch of nominations with Conclave for. And they also own Universal, which put out Wicked, which had a bunch of nominations this year. So altogether, the corporate overlords of Comcast won the whole thing, basically. Won the nomination game anyway.
It's about the art for them.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's the love of cinema.
Yep. And then the only first I could find as far as like people nominated is that Carla Sofia Gascon, who's the star of Amelia Perez, was nominated for Best Actress, which makes her the first openly transgender person to be nominated for an Academy Award.
Oh, is that true?
Oh, for any Academy Award, not just, I
I'm
thought it was a major
surprised by
award.
that.
Maybe it's an acting award.
Yeah, I think it might be for an acting, for a major, one of the major, the top 5 or something like that. So.
Well, I don't know. Zach, look it up.
I'm looking it up.
Good. Cool.
Either way, it's an impressive feat, whether it's first overall or first major award.
Yes. Although since then, did you guys hear what happened to her Twitter account? Her Twitter? I guess we're saying her Twitter account.
She did it to her Twitter account.
Right.
People found her Twitter account.
People found her Twitter account, and let's just say she has some spicy takes that she's tweeted over the last 12 years or something like that on her Twitter account. And some of them aren't even that old. Some of them are like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, some of it's like around George Floyd and that whole
Right.
era. Yes.
Right. It makes you wonder, like, so Amelia Perez, right? We said it came out in March. And like, I don't remember people talking about it, but like come awards season, like once it's clear that like that movie's going to be in the, I don't know,
Conversation.
In the conversation, like what movie studio doesn't scrub the Twitter accounts of like every person involved in the movie? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how nobody identified that these things might be a problem and like had her get rid of them before they became a problem. I don't know.
I'm surprised Netflix didn't go through her Twitter account and be like, we got to delete these.
Yeah.
They should be going through everybody's Twitter account. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in the conversation and I'm the studio that you're attached to my movie for, I am going through your Twitter account and making recommendations on what you should delete.
All right, guys. Elliot Page was nominated for Juno in 2008.
That was before she was openly transgender, though.
Before he was openly transgender.
Before he
so
was
openly is the operative word here?
Yes, I think openly is the operative word. Yes.
Okay, I got you.
So short of that, that's the closest you've been able to find.
That's the closest I've been able to find.
Okay.
I wonder if there was any, though, like in the makeup or costuming. I don't know why I picked those categories. I just assume those are most likely.
No, I wonder if in some of the below the line awards, if there has been an openly transgender person who's been nominated. I'm not sure.
Right.
But
yeah.
It sounds like what's her name? Carla Sofia Gascon. Yeah. I mean, I know we're not making predictions today. But it sounds like her Oscar campaign has lost all steam.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Do you think there's a world where Amelia Perez wins nothing?
Yes. And I think Netflix is worried about that, and they're hedging really strong on like, look, Zoe Saldana's still nominated. Look, we're still a great movie. And Netflix is trying to get people to look at it beyond the main actress's Twitter account.
Sure.
So, but
what were the controversial things that Carla said? Too controversial for Cinereelists?
No. I mean, she had some disparaging things to say about George Floyd.
Okay.
Kind of along the lines of, what did he expect to happen? that's the big one that stood out to me. But it's my understanding is it's also not like she made one bad tweet. It's like there's a history of these hot takes that kind of got her in trouble.
Okay.
And was it partially her response to James? Was it she kind of non-apologized for them, or I don't know, sort of tried to sweep under the rug? I got the impression that she didn't handle it with the best grace either.
I don't know anything about that, but like
Okay.
November 22nd, 2020. I'm sorry, is it just my impression or is there more Muslims in Spain? Every time I go to pick up my daughter from school, there are more women with their hair covered and their skirts down to their heels. Next year, instead of English, we'll have to teach Arabic.
Okay.
Not the worst thing I've ever seen somebody tweet, but probably a little unnecessary. September 2020. Islam is marvelous without any machismo. Women are respected, and when they are so respected, they are left with a little squared hole on their faces for their eyes to be visible and their mouths, but only if she behaves. Although they dress this way for their own enjoyment, how deeply disgusting of humanity. So she's got a thing for Muslim people for sure.
Okay.
It seems.
Okay.
Islam fails.
That's probably enough, James.
Okay. You don't want to go into the George Floyd pose?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Okay. Oh man, the George Floyd ones are worse. We don't have to go into it. You want to hear what she said about the Oscars?
Sure.
More and more, the hashtag Oscars are looking like a ceremony for independent and protest films. I didn't know if I was watching an Afro-Korean festival, a Black Lives Matter demonstration, or 8mm.
That was after 2019, after Parasite and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway,
a lot of unnecessary hot takes on her Twitter account.
Sure. I mean, I haven't seen Amelia Perez, so I don't know whether the other 12 categories like shouldn't be hurt by, her nomination or her participation or whatever. But I don't know. The movie's just such a vacuum for me compared to all the other ones on the list are like movies I've heard of at minimum. People have been talking about, I don't know. It's so odd that like the nomination leader is also a movie that like is not on the radar of somebody who cares about this. That seems odd.
If Wicked or Dune Part 2 was leading the Oscar nominations, you'd be like, oh, of course. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But you're right. Amelia Perez, a movie that sort of came out in March, was not talked about, not on my radar whatsoever. And then here it is, 13 nominations. I'd be curious to know what, maybe Netflix put a huge push behind it. Like what gave it the steam that it needed to get as far as it did.
Definitely. Okay, let's talk some categories. Cinematography. Sure. We got Brutalist, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, Maria, which is a movie I'd never heard of. You guys heard of Maria?
No.
All right. Supposedly, great cinematography. And finally, Nosferatu. Animated feature, Flow. Kyle, have you watched Flow yet?
I have not watched Flow yet. I need to watch Flow.
Flow's great. So good.
Inside Out.
To die down.
Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, and The Wild Robot.
I've seen 3 of those.
Okay.
They're all good.
I have seen 3 of them as well. You saw the new Wallace and Gromit, right?
2.5.
I did, yeah.
Okay. 2.5.
Yeah.
Which one was a half?
The Wild Robot.
Oh, right.
Right. Oh, I thought you finished it.
No.
Oh. Was that just James and I who talked about it then on the podcast?
Yes.
Oh,
Probably.
okay. All right. I remember. Okay. Interesting.
Writing. Original screenplay. Honora. The Brutalist. A Real Pain. September 5th. And The Substance.
Is September 5th about the Munich Olympics?
Yes. I just watched it and it was pretty good. It wasn't like crazy or anything. I wouldn't have nominated it for writing, but it was interesting.
All right. So you've seen all these, James.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what? All right. Should I tell you which one should win? No, we're not doing that this week.
We're not doing predictions, no.
Right. We're not doing predictions. All right. Honora should win. So writing adapted. I can't help. Writing adapted. We've got A Complete Unknown, which I still haven't seen that one. I need to see that.
Mhm.
I honestly have no motivation to watch that movie. Why is that? I don't know.
Why is that?
Have you seen it?
I think.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
You have no motivation either then.
No, I definitely am motivated to see it.
You'd have seen it by now if you actually had motivation.
You secretly don't like what's his name?
Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah.
Or Bob Dylan.
No. What are you
Timothy
talking
Chalamet.
about? I like Timothy Chalamet.
No, James. Yeah, publicly you do. Secretly, you do not like Timothy Chalamet.
No, I'm fine with Timothy Chalamet.
He's
not
publicly.
like he's not like my favorite or anything, but he was a way better Wonka than anybody should be. I would say.
Anybody?
Yeah, I mean, like I can't think of anybody really being able to pick up that role from what's his name? But
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp did not do it. Johnny Depp is what I expect people to do when they try to do that. With Timothy Chalamet, it was very easy for me to forget about what's his name? No.
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. Yeah.
Do you know who I think could pull off Willy Wonka?
Who?
I asked you a question.
I
think-
don't know.
Okay, I think Ryan Gosling could do Willy Wonka.
I could see it.
I could see it. I thought you were going to say Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
No, that's who Hollywood thinks can do Willy Wonka, and that wouldn't be a good Willy Wonka. That'd be the movie If.
Yeah, we got that movie already.
Yeah,
I'm going to be
If.
honest. I didn't hate Deadpool and Wolverine, but if you told me tomorrow that I never get to see another Ryan Reynolds movie for the rest of my life, I'd be okay with it. I'd be like,
You'd be fine.
I'd be like, it was a good run. We got what we needed from him. See you later. I don't think you have much left to offer me.
What about this, James?
Okay.
What if I offered to give you $15 in exchange for you promise to never watch a Ryan Reynolds movie again?
$15?
Yeah.
No.
No, not for
No.
$15.
You said you'd be happy if you never saw another one again.
Here's
Now
the
you're
problem.
getting $15 for it.
Here's the problem. Guaranteed he's appearing in some Marvel movie I'm going to want to watch as Deadpool. And then I won't be able to watch it because he's barely in this movie with like 500 people in it.
Right. But that's
So-
$15 in your pocket.
I know, but then I won't get to watch the thing that I want to watch. That's not
Okay.
really a Ryan Reynolds movie.
All right. $2,000?
Can I watch it if he's not named on the poster?
Are you going to see him on the screen? The only way you are allowed to watch a Ryan Reynolds movie is if you find out from other people when he appears, and you have to leave the theater 10 minutes before he starts appearing, and you can't come back till 10 minutes after his appearance.
This sounds like a lot of work for $15.
I know, that's why I upped it to $2,000.
$2,000? You're going to give me
Yeah.
$2,000?
I'm just curious if you would take that deal.
Honestly, if you give me $2,000, I will not see another Ryan Reynolds movie for the rest of my life.
Really?
I don't even need to see like
Just free and
him in
clear.
cameo. I will just not see the movie. There's no Marvel movie in the world that would keep me from taking your $2,000 for this. Ryan Reynolds no movie really is more important to me than $2,000.
Do you want to hear every upcoming Ryan Reynolds movie?
Sure.
Mayday. All I have is titles.
Okay.
Everyday Parenting Tips.
Oh, great.
Red Notice 2.
I feel better about this every movie he says.
Red Notice 3.
Wait, they're making more.
Boy Band.
Boy band.
Calamity Hustle. Dragon Lair the movie. Free Guy 2.
Wait. Based on the video game?
It must be based on the video game.
Yeah, based on the video game, of course.
That's weird.
Free Guy 2.
I wonder if it's going to be an animated movie or if they're like making a live action version.
I bet
of
you they'll do it
Dragon's Lair.
D&D style.
Yeah. What was
It's
the
a
last one you
Netflix
said?
adaptation. Free Guy 2.
Free Guy 2.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
All right, James, $2,000 or Red Notice 3? Which one do you want?
I know, right? It's like the 6 or 7 movies you mentioned, Zach. None of those are worth more than $2,000.
I don't think Calamity Hustle is a real movie.
Yeah, that sounds like a working title.
Do you want to hear about Calamity Hustle?
Sure.
No.
Yes.
Sure.
Directed by Aaron and Adam Nee. It is an action comedy.
Shocking.
Have a similar tone to Lethal Weapon. Hopefully will launch a franchise. Reynolds is a cop, and Channing Tatum is his estranged low-level criminal brother.
Are you reading an AI summary?
Meanwhile, the story launches when Tatum's character is implicated in a diamond heist, which takes place around the holiday season.
Oh, so it's a Christmas movie.
This sounds so like written by Mad Libs.
This movie will be coming to you like November of 2027, straight to your favorite streaming service.
Anyway, I kind of feel about Timothée Chalamet that I feel about Ryan Reynolds too.
That's what I'm saying. You clearly could give up Ryan Reynolds
But
for a song.
It would be harder for me to give up Timothée Chalamet because I think he'll probably be in the next Dune, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot more career ahead of him.
Sure, but I don't care. I mean, who cares?
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't.
There will be other Timothée Chalamets out there.
Timmy's good. He's good.
He's all right.
No, he's pretty good.
It's not
He's
amazing
all
or
right.
anything like that.
Yeah, see, I know it. I called it right now. Just
Like, what else?
How about this? If you're a loyal Cinereelist listener, pay attention. Every future review that James gives to a Timothée Chalamet movie will be surprisingly tepid.
No, come on.
Yeah, it will.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I'm trying to think of what he's been in other than Dune. What else has he been in? Oh, he was in Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah.
That was, you didn't even like that movie.
We're not talking about me.
I'm just saying. You don't like him just as much as I don't like him.
No, I like him much more than you do.
I don't think so.
He was
You
in
can't
Don't
even
Look Up,
name. Oh yeah, that great movie.
Little Women.
Okay, he was good in Little Women. But also
was.
other people could have played that role.
He was born for that role, James.
I
He's the
don't
only
think so.
person that could have played that role.
No.
Who else? Who? Name names.
I don't know. I'm just saying. He was good in
Lady Bird?
The Lady Bird. Yeah, he was good in that. But, other people could have played that role too.
Who?
I don't know. The only one I can really think of where I'm like, I can't picture anybody else, Wonka. Like today, working today, he's the only person I could think of that would like.
I already suggested a
would've been
person.
Who? Ryan
do you mean?
Reynolds?
No, Ryan Gosling.
Oh, Ryan got. Nah, I don't think it would have been as good. I think that movie needed Timothée Chalamet.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to these nominations. Writing adapted. We got A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Amelia Perez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing.
We're getting to the point now, at least for me personally, I am so not prepared for the Oscars that like each of these kind of categories I've seen like one of these movies.
Sure.
And like usually when the nominations come out, I have a little homework to do. But this time around, I feel like I am so far behind. I don't know how you guys feel, but I just added so many movies to my watch list that like I
Sure.
don't know if I can get to all of these come March, whatever.
I probably won't get to all of them, but I haven't seen 3 of these either,
Yeah.
which is more than I think normal at this point.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'm looking at Best Actor, Scene 1, Best Actress, Scene 1, Supporting, both
Mhm.
Scene 1. I'm like, why? I don't know how I'm so off on this year, but
Sure.
something happened.
So yeah, actress in a supporting role, Monica Barboa from A Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande from Wicked, Felicity Jones, The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini, Conclave, and Zoe Saldana. Saldana?
Zoe
Saldana.
Saldana, Elijah 4.
Saldana?
Saldana. It's got the little.
Okay,
tilde
then I
over
said
the
it
end.
right.
But you said Zoe.
Zoe.
Saldana.
Oh, all right.
It's not Saldana.
Yeah, it's got the little tilde over the end, like Espanol. That's the little tilde. Get the
No one
into
has
it.
ever said Zoe Saldana.
Chiwetel Elijah 4.
How is it? Zoe Saldana? Is that how you're supposed to say it?
Maybe it's Danya. I don't know, but
Yeah, that's what the tilde's for the.
Tilda. I just haven't heard Saldana. I've always heard Zoe Saldana.
So an N with a tilde is a
It's an
Y
Enye.
sound.
It's
No,
it's
it's an
it's
Enye.
the nya. It's a diphthong. It's into like a vowel. Yeah.
All right. If you say so.
I'm willing to be wrong on this. I just haven't heard other people refer to her as Zoe Saldana.
What does she say?
I don't know.
don't
I
know
can
either.
guarantee she doesn't say Zoe.
Maybe this is Zoe Saldana, not Danya.
That just sounds so
Pronounce-
Russian.
It's also, but it's not Russian. It's Spanish.
Okay, you guys ready? I found a YouTube video, 30
Okay.
seconds long. How to pronounce Zoe Saldana.
We can't hear
I
it.
can't
Pronouncenames.com.
Here it comes.
Zoe Saldana.
Saldana.
Saldana, not Danya. Okay.
Zoe Saldana.
Saldana. Okay. All right.
Zoe.
Now, I will say that they don't have the little tilde over the N
Oh.
on this YouTube video or in this YouTube video. So maybe this is how white people pronounce Zoe Saldana's name. Oh, here we go. Zoe Saldana says her name in English and Spanish. Here we go.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hear both.
5 seconds.
Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana. Zoe
here.
Saldana. Zoe Saldana.
There we go.
Zoe
Thank you.
Saldana. Zoe Saldana.
No.
That's her
She would-
saying it both ways.
She
Zoe
would
Saldana.
never say Zoe Saldano, which
She
was
says
her.
Dana.
No, she says Dano. That's silly.
I'm going to play
Play it again.
This is
she
her
says-
saying it both times.
She's saying Zoe Saldano.
Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana.
She's saying,
I
It
think it's
sounds a little
I think
bit
it's
like
getting cut
oh,
off.
but it's
Yeah. But that second
Zoe
one, when
Saldana.
she listen to that second one.
Zoe Saldana.
There, thank you. Right there.
Yes. So I think with the tilde, you're supposed to say nya. And without it, it's okay to just say Dana.
Well, no, I mean, she's pronouncing it in an American accent and a Spanish accent. She's not
Sure.
like changing the spelling.
Right.
I mean, I'm just trying to honor her heritage.
This YouTube channel is called Celebrities Saying Their Own Names. That's the whole channel.
That's awesome.
Let's
Well,
see what the most popular video is on this channel.
I bet you it's Willem Dafoe because apparently it's supposed to be Dafoe.
It's not.
It's not Willem Dafoe. Okay.
It's Cillian Murphy.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Let's hear him say his name.
Oh, it's an Irish name. It's an old Irish name. I think like most Irish names, they were saints originally, and it's pronounced Killian.
Okay. But what about the last name though?
Murphy.
I'm joking.
How high up is Saoirse Ronan on this watch list? That would be another good guess.
Saoirse like inertia. She went on a media campaign when she first got famous, and every talk show appearance, she would say, "It's Saoirse like inertia."
Yeah.
Right, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was smart.
Okay, you don't need to find
that
Saoirse
was
Ronan.
so the most popular video on this channel is Cillian Murphy says his name, 6.1 million. Their second most popular video is 739K. So there's a 5 million view gap, 5 million plus view gap between the first and second video.
Okay.
All right. Let's go back to this. What was that? Supporting role? Okay, actor in a supporting role. Yura Borisov from Anora, Kieran Culkin, A Real Pain, Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce from The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong from The Apprentice, which is
Yep.
great.
The homework.
Actress in a leading role, Cynthia Erivo from Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon from Amelia Perez, Mikey Madison from Anora, Demi Moore from The Substance, and Fernanda Torres from I'm Still Here. That's probably the movie that I haven't seen that's nominated this year that I want to see the most. I'm Still Here.
Yeah.
Or
That's
I've heard
the
good
Brazilian
things.
film, correct?
Yeah. Demi Moore got the nomination. I think that's probably the top line for this one. Do we think she'll win?
I think it'll be between her and Mikey Madison.
Agree.
Okay.
I'm not sure where
You
it's
don't
going
think
to cut yet.
Cynthia Erivo? No chance, huh?
No.
I doubt it.
I mean, she's got another movie to go. Like Wicked 2 or Wicked Part 2 or whatever they're going to call it.
Sure.
Actually, they came out with a name for the new one, and I'm like, what?
It's like Wicked the Next or something like that.
Yeah, it's really weird.
It's not part 2.
Wicked
It's
for good.
for good. That's
Yeah,
it.
what does that even mean? For
It's
good?
a lyric from the song.
But like, if you've never seen Wicked, you wouldn't know that. So what? Like,
Yeah,
what-
but most people don't go see Wicked Part 2 if they haven't seen Wicked.
oh, you mean in Wicked Part 1, they sang a song called "For Good"?
No, it's a lyric in one of the songs.
So I, as a non-Wicked person, went to see Wicked Part 1. I was supposed to catch one line and associate it with the next movie.
Yeah.
This does not sound like good marketing to me.
Most Wicked people are like not casuals, right? Most of them are really into Wicked.
Right, but a lot of people had never seen Wicked and went and saw the movie, myself included.
And these are people that will not see the second one because it has a subtitle they don't understand.
No, I'm just saying it's a weird turn of phrase or whatever it is. It's just two random words put together. What's it called? Be something.
For good. No,
For good.
Okay.
Good.
I'm not familiar with Wicked the musical or the lyrics. It makes sense to me because it's got a double meaning. Like, number one, is it saying, oh, we're doing this for the good? Like, so is it saying, is this
Yeah.
positive? Or is she saying, I'm wicked, for good? Like, it's final. I think it's clever. I don't need the context of
Yeah.
it's from a lyric or not.
Like Wicked, is it good? And the song is called For Good from Wicked. It's about
It's a
being
mistake.
changed.
It's
So
a
it's,
mistake.
Yeah.
what would you subtitle it?
James is going to call it now. Wicked for Good's going to bomb. That's because everyone's confused by the title and they're not
I
going to see
would
it.
call it Wicked Part 2.
Okay. So you would just a soulless subtitle.
Just doing it.
Yeah,
Um,
I would do it.
James's review is gonna say Wicked for bad. That's what he's gonna say.
Call
in
it
his review.
Wicked. The back half of that movie we didn't tell you was actually two movies.
I think this is 2025. We should all be assuming every movie we see will actually end halfway through the plot, right?
Sure.
And will be a part one.
It could even
Have
be
we
a
not
Fast and
learned?
Furious movie where they could make a whole movie and those end it halfway through anyway.
Yeah.
Sure.
It is the way.
Okay, actor in a leading role: Adrian Brody, The Brutalist; Timothy Chalamet, A Complete Unknown; Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing; Rafe Fiennes for Conclave; and finally Sebastian Stan, The Apprentice. I feel like all these Apprentice nominations are surprising to me.
I haven't seen it, so I can't
I haven't
speak
seen
to that.
Well, it only has 2.
I know, but it's like 2 acting nominations
Yeah.
for a movie that like people aren't talking about for the most
Are they
part.
good acting performances?
They're fine. I saw it. I didn't note that it was amazing, and I also wasn't bothered by it at all. So to me, that puts it in perfectly fine category. I'm just surprised that enough people saw that it would get nominated. But there it is. Directing: Jacques Adiard for Amelia Perez, Sean Baker,
Jacques.
Chiwetel Elijah
Jacques Audiard, Sean Baker, Honora, Brady Corbet, The Brutalist, Coralie Fargiet. Did I pronounce that one right?
Farget?
Sure.
I
Farget.
don't know.
Farget.
It might be Farget. Might be hard G.
Oh,
Oh, don't twiddle me on that one. I don't like that at all. I didn't care for that one.
James Mangold, A Complete Unknown.
Coralie Farja.
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 Okay.
Not Farja. Farja.
Farja.
Yeah, it's French.
I haven't seen Amelia Perez, so I can't tell you that we should put Dune 2 in there. But I kind of feel like if I was allowed to sub one in, that's what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
Over A Complete Unknown.
I mean, I haven't seen that one either, so it could
Yeah.
be either of them.
I don't feel comfortable pulling out one over the other, but
Sure. James Mangold is hit or miss for me. Didn't he do Logan?
he did Logan.
Yeah, Logan was like the first James Mangold movie where I was like, I always thought of him as like a drama indie director. And then when he did Logan, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. There's like elements of what he did before, but also in a superhero movie.
Did he do
did
the
that-
Wolverine too?
He did Wolverine
Yeah.
3.
He did Wolverine 2.
No, Wolverine 3.
No, there's X-Men Origins Wolverine. He did not do that. Then there
Oh.
was a Wolverine movie.
That's right. That was just called The
That
Wolverine.
was James Mangold.
That was him. You're right.
Then he did
Yep.
Logan, which is technically Wolverine 3.
You're right. Correction there. He also
Is
did
Logan technically Wolverine 3?
Yes. It's
yeah, it's
the
it's
third solo Wolverine movie.
But do people put them together?
I think it's a different universe. Actually, I don't know if I don't want to get into that, but I don't know if Logan is the same universe as like X-Men.
I believe it is.
It maybe
I believe it's just way in the future.
it might be. I thought Deadpool screwed with all. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's a good.
It's all out the door anyway.
Yeah. Do you know what movie James Mangold directed that I did not know was his?
What?
Identity, the John Cusack movie about people
Oh,
in the
they're all
the
at a hotel and they're yeah.
Yeah.
That Identity is a movie that I saw and I really liked, and then I saw it again a year later and I was like, this is not as good as I remember.
Oh no, it seems cool in the moment
right.
because you're like, whoa, and then like once you know everything that's going on, you watch again, you're like, well, this doesn't make sense whatsoever. Like,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Identity has one of the coolest movie posters, I think.
Isn't it just the handprint?
It's a handprint, but the fingerprint on each finger is a different character from the movie.
yeah,
Sounds so creepy.
it's a cool
great.
movie poster. Yeah,
It's a
I'm gonna
great
look it
movie
up, but
poster.
it doesn't sound cool.
Movie poster's better than the movie. You're looking at it, right, Zach? It's cool. It's a cool design.
Here's the thing.
At least it's not just a collage of faces, which is what a lot of movie
The
posters
fingers are cool. I will give you that.
Mhm.
But in the palm, it's got like a weird face. If it didn't have that, it would be way cooler. The face in the palm distracts from the fingers way too much.
is John Cusack in the face?
You can't recognize it. It's like a gargoyle face.
I think it's cool.
I think the palm distracts. I like the fingers, but I've never noticed the fingers because I've always been repulsed by the palm.
by the face of the palm.
Yeah.
I mean, you know a movie poster's cool if I remember it. I mean, this movie's old, right? What year?
2003.
2003. Wow.
2003.
Oh yeah, it's the face of like someone screaming or like looking surprised in the
Yeah.
palm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can remember what a movie poster looks like 21 years after it came out, that's a good movie poster.
That not necessarily, James.
Maybe not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
You can't just contradict him. You have to give a reason.
Yeah,
why.
you have to give me a reason why. Okay. Well,
Why?
while Zach's thinking hard, let's go to
No,
best
Look at
picture.
2003 movie posters.
Anora, The
Yep.
Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. And I didn't really have a
impressed.
problem with any of those, to be honest. Go
So
ahead.
Wicked has one producer that's up for the Oscar. Like all the other movies have 3 or 4 people afterwards.
Yeah.
Wicked's got one. I kind of want Wicked to win, so this one guy comes up.
Oh, it's going to be him and a bunch of other people.
Well, I know they always bring the cast up, but
Sure.
like, you're like, nope, this is my Oscar. I'm taking all 5 minutes to talk
Sure. I mean,
No
he
one
might be
else-
the only one allowed to talk or
hold it or anything. But
Right.
yeah.
And for that reason, you want Wicked to win Best Picture.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see Mark Platt up there by himself for 5 minutes talking about how great he did on producing this movie.
You're a big Mark Platt fan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everything he's been doing, I've been following for a long time.
I don't even know what he's been doing. Who is Mark
He's
Platt?
received numerous accolades, including 3 Tony Awards, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, as well as nominations for 4 Academy Awards.
Oh, you know what? I actually listened to an interview with Mark Platt. He was on The Business.
Yeah.
KCRW. It was good. He was talking about how he originally bought the film rights for Wicked and then decided to make it a play. And then 20 plus years later, he eventually made it into a movie.
Yeah. Like, do you like Bridge of Spies?
Yeah.
A Mark Platt joint. You like The Trial of Chicago 7?
Sure.
Sure. And actually, here's the thing. We've heard Mark Platt talk when La La Land won the Oscar incorrectly.
Oh, that's right. He produced La La Land.
Yeah. So I want to give him a second chance now.
All right. I like him.
Is he the one that said we didn't win it?
No, that was the other guy.
Oh.
No, he was not the only guy.
Hmm.
He was the first guy who talked. And then I think the second guy was the guy who was like, we didn't win.
Yeah, because one of them kind of gave a halfway acceptance speech while they were figuring it out behind him that something was up.
Yeah, see, that's Mark Platt. He just runs fast and loose.
Yep.
He hears his name. He's up there right away.
Okay, so the week before the Oscars, we will go back through. We will go through every category and we will pick our will wins and should wins. And so we have about 2 weeks, I would say, before we're going to do that, because the ceremony is March 2nd.
Oh.
So yeah. So we're going to make our picks on the March 2nd so 2 weeks from now, the 23rd, we will be making our Oscar picks. Zach, this might be an off podcast thing, but is your buddy going to do the Oscar pool again?
Yeah.
Website? Okay.
Yeah, he's already got it.
Then we might do a competition this year.
Sweet.
Can you
Yeah,
make
I've
us a
got-
group and give me a link?
Yeah, I've got a link right now.
Okay.
Cool.
We've done this in past years. You guys will have a link in the description of this episode. And if you want to join our Oscar pool, do that and we'll give something away. Previously, it's been a mug, a Cinereelists mug. Maybe it'll be that again. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Anything else on the Academy Award nominations that we need to talk about?
I got too much to watch in 2 weeks. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you got 3 weeks before the Oscars.
Okay. 3 weeks before the Oscars.
2 weeks before you have to make your pick, but 3 weeks before the Oscars.
I feel like once I make my picks, I can't watch any movies until the Oscars actually happen.
And I think you only have to watch if you wanted to knock out the vast majority, you only have to watch 4 movies.
Yeah, that's true.
So, okay. Let's get into our main event movie for the week. We will be talking The Count of Monte Cristo, which is available on premium VOD right now on your preferred service. We're going to talk about it right after this clip.
On venait de faire le changement de quart, on était au large du Cap Corse. La houle était forte, on était à moins de 200 brasses de l'épave.
Donnez-moi le journal de bord.
On a commencé à taper dans les débris quand Dantès a voulu sortir la chaloupe. Alors je lui ai interdit. C'était une folie.
C'est vrai?
Oui, monsieur. Sauf que ce n'était pas une folie, on l'aurait fait pour n'importe lequel de nos hommes.
Ça, c'était à moi d'en décider.
J'ai pris mes
J'ai
responsabilités.
ordonné qu'on
j'ai
vire de
décidé.
bord, et c'est là qu'il a plongé.
That was The Count of Monte Cristo, which is a French historical action adventure film based on the 1844 novel by Alexandre Dumas.
Dumas. Yes.
Dumas. This movie was
Plus a ghostwriter.
Directed
Yes.
by Mathieu Delaporte.
Mathieu
Delaporte and Alexander de la
This is not Spanish.
Pateliere.
Pateliere.
One of my favorite inside jokes of this podcast is we have James read the names every week.
Yeah.
And I just love that.
You got chweidled.
It also stars Pierre Niney. All right. Bastien Bouillon.
I don't have that name in front of me, so sure.
All right. Anais Demostier.
Demostier.
Anna-Marie Vardalume.
Yeah, that's not French. I can't tell you how to say that one.
Laurent Lafitte.
Lafitte.
All right. If you say so. The Count of Monte Cristo, the official IMDb plot synopsis for the film is: after escaping from an island prison where he spent 14 years for being wrongly accused of state treason, Edmond Dantes returns as the Count of Monte Cristo to exact revenge on the men who betrayed him. What did you guys think of the Count of Monte Cristo?
I like to go last.
Okay.
Or do you want me to go first? Because I should go first or last. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
I only go middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Traditionally.
I surprised myself, but I absolutely loved this movie. I loved it. It was fantastic.
Wait, that means you didn't think you were going to like it?
I didn't think I would have a strong reaction to it.
Okay.
I started it and I was like, okay, so this is a 3-hour movie in French. Okay. And I'd already seen a Count of Monte Cristo film, right? That I liked a lot at the time.
Oh, sure. Like 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I thought, one, the cinematography was sumptuous. Definitely sumptuous. The acting, phenomenal. I think every character I thought was very well acted. His main love interest,
Mercedes.
You could absolutely, what's that?
Mercedes.
You could absolutely see why he was obsessed with her. You know what I mean? Like, she comes across as so charming. The bad guys, especially the prosecutor,
Villefort.
Yes, he's so effortlessly, like evil in a very hidden way. It's great. I mean, it's just really good performances. The plotting, I thought, was intricate yet understandable. Sometimes these movies can get away from you. They become very complicated with lots of names and chain of events, and you're like, I don't really know who's doing what and why, but I trust that they do. This one, I knew I could follow along. I could connect the dots, that he's making and stuff like that. It was fun. And I also am a sucker for a very intense character who has one goal and he's incredibly focused on achieving the goal. And it's like nothing can stop a focused person on achieving their goal. It was just it was great. It was really, really good. Yeah, I almost have no complaints.
Nice.
Yeah. Awesome. I've got some complaints, but overall, I also enjoyed it. Like, if I have to watch a movie like this, then this is probably the better version of that. But it was very long for me. 3 hours was, for a movie that doesn't really have a whole lot of action. I've seen another Monte Cristo too, whichever one, the one from 2004 or 2002 or
Guy
whatever.
Pearce. Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen that movie. I don't remember that movie, but I feel like that one was more like a swashbuckling movie that had like Monte Cristo story elements in it. You know what I mean? Like I just
correct,
remember
yes.
it being like more of an action movie, and I kind of expected, probably because of the Three Musketeers movies that we've been watching, that I don't think have any real creative connection to this other than them being made in France.
I think it's the same director.
Oh, is it? Well, then
I
it has
believe
a lot
so.
of DNA with it. For some reason, I expected it to be more like those movies, and it's basically those movies minus the action in my mind. At least the D'Artagnan one, the most recent one that we watched. That wasn't D'Artagnan. That was Lady something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Lady M or something like that.
Yeah. So there was a lot of talking in this movie, I guess is what I'm saying. And that talking was in French, which means there was a lot of reading. And it normally doesn't bother me, but there was a lot in this movie. But the cinematography was really pretty, and there's something about watching new movies with a cast where you don't recognize a single person that's kind of fun, because there's like just no baggage whatsoever coming into the movie. I enjoyed that, just kind of seeing different faces that we like. The lead of this movie, he'll never be a star in the United States. He looks too European. But it was fun to watch him, and he was good. So my two biggest complaints that like it's probably just not that kind of movie is not enough action and like maybe half an hour too long. But the cinematography was really good. I watched it with my parents, and my mom just could not talk about how good it looked. And I reminded her that she watches pretty much exclusively Tyler Sheridan television shows and reality TV. So if those are like your measuring sticks for good cinematography, then it doesn't take a lot to blow your socks off. But this one it has a different look than like most Hollywood movies does. I was impressed by those
The
things.
guys who directed this movie and also wrote the screenplay for the Three Musketeers movies we saw.
Okay. So it does share a good bit of creative DNA.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Is it the same cinematographer? Because I thought this looked better than the Three Musketeers movies we watched.
Nicholas Bulldog. A good question.
Yeah.
Let's see. Film.
Oh, the other.
Scrolling. Oh no, same cinematographer.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
The other criticism I had was that we got pretty fully fleshed out backstories for almost everybody in the movie. Like the people that needed them definitely had them. And even the people that didn't have them had like one line or something like that would like give you some kind of framing, except for the goddaughter. The goddaughter
Heidi.
just kind of shows up in the movie, and they like don't give any real reason for why she's participating in the ways that she's participating.
No,
and
we know why.
I missed it then. You'll have to
At the
explain to me.
very end, it's so everyone else in the movie, you kind of know how they play into this.
I know why
for-
she eventually did, but like, why was she motivated to help him get his revenge?
Well, that was her motivation because of her connection she had to Fernand and that family.
Yeah.
I didn't
The
catch
guy-
that connection. Is it
The guy
spoiler?
killed her father. No, the guy killed her father.
Well, I mean, it's her motivation is kind of kept as a secret from the viewers until the very end of the movie.
They
Other
do
people's
show
motivation.
They do show her as a young girl looking through the door where her dad is killed, or like halfway through the movie.
Do they really? I don't remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah. There's
Really?
a shot of a like 11-year-old girl looking through a doorway and watching her dad be shot.
Okay, I missed that.
I missed
Or
it too.
depends on
I
that
must
clock,
have.
yeah.
But at the end of the movie, they explain it more explicitly.
I probably couldn't read fast enough, so I missed it.
James, if you were French,
Yeah.
and spoke French natively, do you think you would have liked the movie more?
I think it still probably would have been 30 minutes too long and needed more action. But maybe I would have caught that moment with that one particular character that I didn't catch. I felt like everybody else, I understood their motivations. For some reason, I didn't understand hers.
Sure.
Kyle?
Yeah. So The Count of Monte Cristo is my favorite book of all time. I've read this book twice all the way through, and actually I started reading it at the beginning of this year. I'm about a quarter of the way through it right now. So I love the story of Edmond Dantes, and what I love about the book is it really is about the revenge. Like I said, I'm about a quarter of the way through the book, and he's just starting as Count of Monte Cristo. And so the next 3/4 of the book is all him setting up his revenge, setting up his traps, and executing his plan. And it's like a heist movie, but a revenge movie instead, where he's setting all these elaborate traps throughout the story, and it all kind of culminates in his final revenge against these people who have forgotten that he exists because he's been gone for 14 years. They just assume he's dead. He's just a part of their past. They don't expect him to come back. So that's just kind of my framing. What I love about Monte Cristo is the revenge, is that drive, Zach, that you were mentioning. I've seen the Guy Pearce version, and that was fun. It is very swashbucklery. I will agree with you, James. And the Count of Monte Cristo book is not a swashbuckling book whatsoever. Unlike Three Musketeers, which Dumas also wrote, which is a swashbuckler. This one's more about the plot, and which is bringing it all together.
It's why I was not expecting a lot of action in this movie.
Exactly. Yeah, it's definitely much more of a talking movie. But I think this movie did an amazing job of capturing the vibe of the book, where so much of this movie was dedicated to the revenge. Like, probably the first hour is the setup. It's him getting arrested. He's in the Chateau d'If. He's learning from the Abbé Faria about the world. That's how he becomes this worldly person. He pulls off his escape. That's all in the first hour. And then the next 2 hours is him focused on the revenge. Obviously, this movie has kind of truncated things because the book is 1,400 pages long. And if you were to do everything, it would be a 6 hour. I mean, it'd be a miniseries. That's what I really want from this story, as I would love to see a miniseries of the Count of Monte Cristo.
It would shine.
Right, because it is a very dense story. But I thought this movie, as an adaptation, did a pretty amazing job of taking the density that is the story of Edmond Dantes and boiling it down to the necessities that give you still the story and give you kind of the vibe of the book without being 4 hours long and without having to resort to too much action to keep you going. I didn't need the action personally. I agree with you guys. It was beautiful to look at. This definitely had that. It reminded me of Three Musketeers, and maybe because this took place in more spaces for the rich people, that's why it looked a little bit more sumptuous, as Zach put it. Where Three Musketeers kind of takes place more in the countryside. Acting was great. A lot of these characters are playing the same person, with a 20-year age difference, and it's one of those kind of things with a makeup job. Is like, I don't know how old these people actually are. Like, I don't know if they play them young for the prequel and then they play their normal age later, or if they were young in the, I don't know. Like they did a great job of making me feel like, oh yeah, these characters have aged 20 years and they're still the same people. I really like that they gave us the Count of Monte Cristo doing his disguises. That's my favorite part. One of my favorite parts of the book is he takes on all these different personalities.
He was Halifax, right?
Yeah, he was Halifax. Yeah, which that's somewhat. I don't know how much you want me to get into, like what's different. That was one of the made up characters. I would say this movie really tries to make the bad guys real bad.
Worse than the book.
Worse than the book. Yes. I really did not like at the beginning when Danglars, who is the ship captain, who says something like, "I'm brutal and I like it." It was not quite as clunky as that. It was pretty darn clunky.
So that's not dialogue out of the book?
No. Well, no. So again, if you want me to get into it, Danglars is not the captain in the book. He is like another person who's up for promotion to captain, and Dantes gets it over Danglars. So that's why Danglars is kind of jealous of him. So, but I mean, that's fine. This movie, it's okay for it to make it more clear of like, he's the captain, he lost it, he's jealous. He's the lover, he can't marry his cousin. He's like, this movie did a really good job of saying like, here's the clear motivation for why these people want to do the things they need to do. Because it's a movie. You can't have that inner dialogue that books give you. You have to show me somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this movie did a great job of doing that.
Nice. When's the last time you saw the Hollywood one from 20 years ago?
I watched it for the first time like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And that's probably the only time I'll ever see it.
How did you? Oh, because you didn't like it.
No, I liked it better than I thought I was going to.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the Hollywood version, it rushes the revenge part, which is my favorite part, obviously. And it was a lot more sword fighting and swashbuckling stuff.
Sure. I mean, maybe that's part of the issue is that I associated it with Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
And then saw the movie and it was so long with so little action that I just maybe wasn't in the headspace for that. I don't know. Because I can sit down and watch like what's the Kubrick movie that's also a period piece like this?
Barry Lyndon.
Barry Lyndon, and I don't expect Barry Lyndon to be swashbuckling at all, and it kind of isn't. Like
it's got war scenes though in it. It's got battles.
It's got a little more action.
Yeah,
but I just mean like I think maybe the expectation hurt it. But I think even if I knew the extent, I still think it's 30 minutes too long.
See, I never felt the runtime.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I was just enjoying it.
Sure. I could see this being like a 6-episode miniseries very easily. And
yes.
Maybe you could have like included more intrigue over time. More of the makeup and costuming and fooling people and stuff like that. I enjoyed that type of stuff. Yeah.
Are you guys aware of the other Count of Monte Cristo that came out in 2024?
I believe that actually is a miniseries.
Exactly.
Yes.
There's a miniseries, The Count of Monte Cristo, that is a season.
Like here in the US?
No. I think it's also French.
Okay.
And it's 8 episodes.
Is it
Zach, I may need some help finding that.
Yeah, the library's right there.
Yeah. Is it okay? Is it library, Zach?
I will say, looking at it, it doesn't look as sumptuous.
I mean, it probably. So this movie is the highest budgeted movie of the 2024 in France.
Okay.
Like this is their Dune Part 2.
But I've heard that it's more faithful to the book.
Yeah. And that's something that I needed to catch myself on, of not constantly comparing this like to each detail of the book, because there are a lot of changes. There are completely made up characters. And if you want to say like, is this a faithful adaptation plot wise? No, the minutia is different. But again, the vibe of the book, the story, the character of Dantes, that's all true to the book. So I think that's what makes this a good adaptation, is like, hey, we can still capture the story without having to tell it word for word.
Yeah.
So spoilers for Count of Monte Cristo.
Sure.
Mild spoilers. So the girl, Haiti, right?
Yes.
The eye patch guy killed her father. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Fernando de Morcef. Yes.
But he killed him in battle because he's the general, right?
No.
How did he kill him?
Her father was Ali Pasha, who he kept saying like, oh, I fought alongside Ali Pasha in Tangiers, wherever they were fighting, somewhere in northern Africa. What really happened, though, is for whatever reason, he betrayed Ali Pasha. He doesn't really say why he betrayed Ali Pasha. Probably for his own personal gain of some sort. So he shot Ali Pasha 12 times. And then Ali Pasha got one shot off before he died. And that took out Fernando de Morcef's eye.
This was all in the movie?
Yeah.
How did I miss all of this?
Because you checked out.
I didn't check out. I was trying to keep up.
Were you sleeping?
No.
Okay. But that is something where like you don't know her motivation
literally
until
took
the
a
very
break.
end of the movie.
We literally took a break in the middle of the movie.
Were people talking during the movie?
No.
Okay.
I mean, they had a whole conversation about this.
I didn't get.
Do
so
you
they didn't actually
remember-
show it. It's all just like in the back and forth between the characters.
Yeah, like he says, Dantes says to Heidi, like, tell Morcerf who you are, or something like that.
Do you remember when she was going to run away with the boy that she loved?
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
then
There's his son. Yeah.
he showed, the Count showed up and said, are you going to tell him or should I? About who she is. And then that's what they tell her. That's what they tell him. That story.
And this is at the end.
Oh, you don't remember this conversation at all?
No.
Do you remember when she's going to run off with him and then the Count stops them?
Yes. That
That's
was
there.
It's mixed
It's part
into
of the
that
scene.
scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I'm never
it's
going to
like
watch
a-
this again, but it's good to know.
I would totally watch this again. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I don't think I have another 3 hours for this. If there was a Count of Monte Cristo 2 from the same team, I'd watch that.
There is no
There will
sequel.
not be.
Just
There's not a
saying,
sequel.
if there was, I'd be up for it. I
Was
didn't-
Haiti the biggest change from the book?
No, she's in the book. The biggest change is Villefort's sister.
Right.
In the book, it's his father.
Okay.
And in this case, I think Villefort was the other big change too, because like in the book, Villefort does what he does to protect his reputation, because the letter mentions his father, who's a Bonapartist. Villefort, the prosecutor, doesn't want that to hurt his career, so he essentially locks up Dantes and throws away the key. This movie made him much more evil, with like trying to kill people and burying babies and all this other, which I think part of that's kind of from the book too. I don't remember all that from the book, but I also remember Villefort being more of like an opportunist coward. And in this movie, they made him much more of like an evil guy.
I liked the prison break stuff. It was all good.
Oh, it's
like that.
It's like one of the most memorable things I've ever read in a book.
Yeah.
Like if I forget anything else from that book, I will never forget how he breaks out of prison, because it's amazing.
It's the only part of the early 2000s movie that I remember is that part.
It's kind of sad that they spend like a decade spooning out that cave, and then they don't even use it to break out. It's like crazy.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And that's the big risk that he was taking, right? He had a plan, and then he took a huge risk deviating from the plan.
Sure. Yeah.
The Abbé Faria is one of my favorite literary characters also. I mean, he's a bit of like this, magical guy who shows up and he kicks the plot off, obviously, but like it's kind of fun that he's very wise, he's very smart, he knows about these riches, and I mean, obviously.
What was your problem with the Cave of Wonders?
Oh, so in the book, it's literally a treasure chest.
It's not a room full of treasure.
Right. It's a treasure chest full of like Roman coins, which I've valued greatly over time. So it's still a ton of money, but it's a treasure chest he finds. And in this movie, he finds like, again, it's a lake. It's an underground lake of coins and jewels. And I was like, okay, this is a little ridiculous, but
it was awesome. You're right.
I liked it. I just couldn't figure out how he was going to get down there.
Rope.
There's stairs.
Yeah.
There's like circular stairs going down.
All those places are real places, like that prison, Chateau d'If. You can see pictures of it on Wikipedia.
And that's really like how it kind of was.
It's an actual prison on an island outside of Marseille. Yeah. They have you can take a tour there, and they have the Edmond Dantes cell you can go see.
Nice.
Yeah. So I kind of want to go to Chateau d'If, the real thing, and take a tour of it.
Let's go.
All right, let's go to Marseille.
Price is Right rules. How many minute standing ovation did this movie get at Cannes?
So close without going over?
Closest without going over.
Okay. I'll let Zach go. No, I'll go first. I will say 13 minutes.
Oh, no, it's more than 13. I'm going to guess 24 minutes.
Well, you're both wrong because you're both over. It's 11.
Oh.
24 minutes. You're telling me for nearly half an hour people are going to stand there and clap?
No, con applause has like suffered great inflation. So now people clap for ridiculous amounts of time.
Right, but not 24 minutes. Like 11 minutes is a long time.
Longest applause at con. What do you think it is?
It's probably like Brendan Fraser for The Whale, not The Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay, so this Kyle versus me for the longest.
Wait, you want longest overall?
Longest overall. I'm gonna guess without going over, Kyle. I will guess 13 minutes.
22. My gut says 22.
It is 22. Wow. 22 minutes for Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth.
I like Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh,
that's a long time to stand there and clap.
That also doesn't prove Zach's point about how the inflation of clapping.
Right.
That movie came out like 15 years ago.
20 minutes for Fahrenheit 9/11.
Yeah, again, 20 years ago. Keep going.
18 minutes for Mud. That
was 10 years
a
ago.
Long time.
Yeah.
More than 10 years. Yeah.
17 minutes for Neon Demon.
Yep, 10 years ago. Keep going.
15 minutes for The Paperboy.
Honestly, I would say that there's been a decrease in the clapping time.
If those are all the long ones, those were a while ago.
10 minutes for The Beaver.
That's crazy. Have you ever seen The Beaver?
The Mel Gibson movie?
Yeah, the Mel Gibson movie.
But how about for like The Whale?
The Whale, I don't think it showed at Cannes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, am I confusing like Cannes with Sundance? And
yes,
probably.
Oh, okay. So here's the issue. It's a zero-sum game. So as the clapping's gone down at Cannes, it's gone up at Sundance. There's only a finite amount of clapping you can have in the movie world.
I'm pretty sure like Kevin Smith's Red State got like an 8-minute standing ovation at Cannes.
Cannes just loves clapping.
That's what I'm saying. Like I like Red State, but come on. You know what I mean? A little, 20-second yay, good job. Let's move on.
Job.
You know what I mean? I think, I don't know. 22 minutes is pretty excessive for any movie, I would say.
Even Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah. I like Pan's Labyrinth a lot, and I wouldn't clap for it for 22 minutes straight.
I mean, if you're there, it's to set the record, I would gladly participate.
You think they put a little
the crowd's in it
on the screen? And
no, it's just if the whole crowd's clapping and you like the movie and it's fun and keep it going.
22 minutes.
I feel like after 5 minutes you can stop.
Yeah,
I'm gonna sit down after 5 minutes and be like, all right.
Even if you really like the movie and like everyone else is clapping, how exciting is that?
No,
you're part of history.
I don't want to be a part of the history anymore.
It will be exciting for 5 minutes. The moment you get it close to 22 minutes, come on.
That's exciting.
What are we doing here?
I would gladly clap for 22 minutes to be a part of that.
No
excitement. You guys just don't like enjoying things.
What are you gonna say? Hey guys, remember when they clapped for 22 minutes at Pan's Labyrinth? I was there.
No, but how crazy is that? How insane of a moment is it?
It's not that insane of a moment.
We're all still doing this, guys. This is crazy.
It's not that insane. If you were like, I was at Cannes and we clapped for 3 hours for The Brutalist, I'm like, okay, that's insane, right?
That would be insane.
But
I would participate in that.
22 minutes of clapping, that's not insane. That's just kind of ridiculous.
Pretty awesome.
And I think at that point, it has not much to do with the movie.
What do you think is the longest you've ever clapped for?
You mean continuous without stopping?
Yeah. Just a single applause session.
2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I would say probably however long it takes for Metallica to come out for an encore.
They take 3 minutes and you will clap for an empty stage for 3 minutes.
Well, no, because they're going to come back out.
So you will clap for an empty stage for 3 minutes and your max at Cannes Film Festival is 5 minutes.
Right. Because it's
what if Metallica will come out at Cannes?
But they're not going to. Once the movie's over, it's over. There's no after show to the movie. It's not like they're like, you know what? We got a second one for you. Thanks for staying. Here you go.
I
Well,
think,
all the people are there too.
I think some kind of monster played it. Can.
Yeah, and then I clapped for 5 minutes, then Metallica came back out, and it was wonderful.
I think probably the longest I've clapped was like at a Broadway play or something like that. Like
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've clapped for like
when they're all taking bows.
when they're all taking bows.
Oh,
So
okay,
that would be
yes.
continuous for 3 to 5 minutes, right? Probably.
Sure.
Right,
Yeah.
but that, you're also like different people are coming out, so you want to keep the clap going.
That might be happening.
Right. I don't
for
think
Pan's
that's
Labyrinth.
crazy.
Or
It's
are
crazy
they
to
bringing out
clap
like
for a
the
movie.
entire crew for 22 minutes?
It's
Like
possible.
one at a time, like best boy, give it up, key grip, woo! And just I don't.
Possible.
Let's be honest. The only place where it's kind of okay to clap at a movie is when like the filmmakers are in the room. Otherwise,
Yeah.
who are you clapping?
I don't clap at the end of movies,
Me
but if the
neither.
filmmaker's there, I'll clap.
Yeah.
You guys
Even if I
clap on
don't
air-
even if I don't like the movie, if the filmmaker's there, I'll probably clap. Just because it's hard to make movies.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Do you at all think we should agree that if on the sad note that James does not make it past this year, you and me should clap for 22 minutes at his funeral?
No,
And
do
leave-
not do that on my funeral.
Can we lead everyone in it?
No,
Or like the day after.
no,
The day after. You don't want a 22-minute clap at any point?
no. I would not wish that. I don't. I don't want people to have to clap for me for 22 minutes.
No.
That's
We'd be
insane.
happy to. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm happy to do it. You deserve it, James.
No,
22 minutes.
it would be
of
too
clap.
awkward because other people would be like, "Why are we still clapping?" Man, this guy really liked James. Jeez.
What
22
we'll do,
minutes.
James, is we'll play Stairway to Heaven twice,
No, I don't like
and we'll
that
clap
song.
the entire time.
No.
Clap the entire time.
And then Stairway to Heaven will end, and everyone's like, "Oh, okay." And then they'll start again, and we'll just keep going. And like, "Oh,
We'll have a countdown clock. It starts at 22 and counts down.
no, we can't have a countdown clock because then people are they know how long we're gonna clap for."
No, I want the opposite. I want zero clapping at my funeral.
You think there'll be zero applause at your funeral?
If somebody goes up and gives a eulogy, I don't care if it's the best eulogy you've ever heard. No clapping allowed.
I don't know if clapping is appropriate for a memorial service in general.
People
will agree
clap
there.
at memorial services, don't they?
But are they happy that the person's dead? Like, oh,
No,
thank
but
goodness.
when
That's-
somebody sings a song at a memorial service or somebody gives a speech, I think people clap when you go.
Yeah,
when
there's
they
definitely
go to sit
clapping.
down.
it's polite though. It's not a riotous applause.
Yeah.
It's a smattering of polite clapping.
So I'm saying I don't even want polite clapping.
Not even
I
a
just want-
smattering.
No, I want
Okay.
silence.
What
right.
we will hand out to everyone honorary oven mitts that they have to wear the entire ceremony
To avoid clapping.
to avoid clapping.
This
Yeah.
this sounds right up my alley.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah,
And everyone
just
can
on the
have-
off chance.
Their oven mitt of you.
Just make Cinereelists oven mitts with the Cinereelists logo on it. Hand them out.
Okay.
Really,
Okay.
really confuse the crap out of everybody there. They're like, "What? Isn't this
James-
that podcast thing? Why is it an oven mitt?"
Why is it not? We can't tell them because then they might get
They
in
might
their
clap.
head clapping. They might be
Right.
like, I wasn't thinking about it before,
Right.
but now I really want to.
But then we're gonna say it was James' last wish that we pass this piping hot cake out of the oven amongst the crowd.
And then we pass it down on
Then we
down the
pass
aisle.
a cake, and everyone's just passing it to each other.
Sounds awesome. I can't wait to do this.
Okay, so based on that, what is your letterbox rating for the Count of Monte Cristo?
I gave it a 3.5.
Can I also say the Monte Cristo sandwich, also very good sandwich.
Right.
I love Denny's Monte Cristo sandwich. Denny's?
Sure.
Was it Denny's? Yeah. Denny's.
I mean,
has it.
a Monte Cristo's a commons. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Cheddar's has a really good Monte Cristo.
Yes, they have a good one too. I can't eat it anymore though. It's a bummer. It's not on the diet.
The movie also doesn't get into this, but the whole fact that he's a Count of Monte Cristo is kind of a joke.
Why?
Because
Doesn't he buy the title?
I don't think
Yeah,
it's a
he bought-
real title, right? He like made it up about the island or something.
right, because it's a barren island in the middle of the Mediterranean.
Right.
So like he's oh, you're a count of this. That's kind of the again. The movie doesn't get into it. But there's sort of a joke behind it of like you're the count of what.
Do people make jokes of it?
in the book there, it's definitely like kind of pointed out that you're like, why are you the count of this tiny barren island?
Would you pay $30,000 to be a count?
If I had disposable income like that?
No, I mean right now in your life, at this stage, would you
No.
spend $30,000 to become a legit count?
I mean, is there any benefit? Like, is this an investment? Am I going to get land and titles from this?
Well, the title is count.
Yeah, but like, is there money that comes with the title? Do I get to
No.
collect taxes from the little people?
No,
No, then
It's
I'm not
honorary
gonna
at
spend $30,000.
best.
But you would pass it down to your son. He would be count after you. Your wife would be countess.
No.
Oh, I would definitely do it.
No way.
$30,000 right now? No, I've
Yeah,
better
to be a
uses
count?
of $30K right now. No,
To be a
I would not do
count.
it. Yeah, you keep saying it. And I keep saying no.
Your favorite book is about a count.
Yeah, but it's not because he's a count. It's because he's great at revenge. I don't like the book because of the title.
We thought it was the title that really
Yeah.
put it over the
Obviously,
edge for you.
favorite Sesame Street character, Count Dracula. Or
Yeah,
Count,
obviously. Yeah.
the
Mhm.
Count. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, I love Nosferatu.
Okay, I
Yes.
gave it a 3.5.
Kyle?
I'm between a 4 and a 4.5. I think if I had not read the book, this would be a 4.5.
Okay.
But
5 stars.
Okay, 5 stars.
I got no complaints about it. This movie was awesome.
Perfect.
Nice.
Loved it.
Cool. 3.5, a 4 or a 4.5, and a 5. 4.
It's a hard 4 or a soft 4.5.
Okay. It's
Take of that what you will.
4.25.
Nope, can't nothing in between.
Sure.
Hard 4, soft 4.5.
So kind of all over the place. Although a 3.5 is not a bad score for me. That's like full star over average.
It's
so.
all the Cinereelists recommend, right?
I mean, as long as
Oh, yeah.
you don't mind reading a book's worth of subtitles in 3 hours.
Well, here's the thing. Even if you do mind it, you still gave it a 3.5, despite that.
I didn't even mind it. I just got a little weary of all the reading. It's a lot of reading. I watch subtitled things. I watch Squid Games. That's 8 episodes, and yet I'm not tired of reading that. It's because it's not just chock full of dialogue. This movie is like chock full of dialogue.
It's a talky story. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
You know what I really
And you
enjoyed
have to
about the
pay
French?
close attention. And I tried and still didn't catch everything.
Apparently
clearly.
not very well.
French has so many cognates with English. It's fun to like.
I don't
they're
even know
saying
what a
things and you're like,
cognite is.
It's like a word in French that
Oh, that's
sounds
similar.
like the similar word in English.
Yeah.
And so there's so many times they would say something that's like, oh, that I could kind of follow along with that even without reading it. That
Oh,
was
Monte Cristo. Okay, I know that word.
That's like the sandwich.
The sandwich.
The sandwich.
And count is kind of like count. This is
Oh, but
perfect.
they have like Capitan, obviously.
Yeah,
and-
sure.
yeah. There's a lot of that stuff.
Murder.
What?
I don't know.
No, murder is mort is dead. What is murder? I don't know what murder is in French.
That's probably a good
Good
thing.
question.
All right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed that. And if you, I would say if you're, as the 3.5 here, I would say if you liked Three Musketeers, the French versions of the 2 Three Musketeers movies that we've talked in previous years, this is more of that minus the fun.
No, it's a different kind of fun. It's
Don't
like-
go in looking for the Three Musketeers.
Sure.
Going looking for like a really cool, well acted,
Drama.
beautiful drama.
Twisty revenge drama, I would say.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
With a little Ocean's 11 mixed in.
Yeah, a little heist, a little courtroom drama going in there.
I remember having to read this when I was in school too. And the other book that I remember having to read is The Scarlet Letter. Has there ever been a Scarlet Letter movie?
Yeah, with Demi Moore and
Demi Moore.
Oh,
Gary
really?
Oldman, right? Back in the 90s.
I've probably seen it then if it came out in the 90s, but
Did anyone else think that the one guy looked like Jermaine Clement?
Which one
no.
guy?
Which one guy?
The prosecutor?
Villefort?
Yeah.
No, never.
Like
I
Jermaine
confident
Clement's
that it-
dad, maybe.
I don't see it whatsoever.
You don't see it whatsoever.
I see Jermaine Clement as having like thick glasses and curly hair.
Okay, imagine if he took the glasses off.
I've never seen it. I can't.
I think they look similar.
Zach, by the way, I like your haircut. I forgot to compliment you last week.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
definitely.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for getting it cut when I came to see you. It was nice to clean up.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
Oh yeah, we never got into that.
Oh,
what?
We could Patreon it.
Okay. We'll Patreon it.
We all hung out.
Speaking of Patreon, thank you for joining us for this episode 667 of the Cinereelists. We appreciate your listenership. Hopefully that was fun to listen to. Don't forget there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. You can support us on Patreon. We'd appreciate that. Leave us an Apple Podcast review. That's also something you could do. Also, leave us a listener email at heyguys@cinereelists.com. Links to do any of those kinds of things are in the description, as well as following us on social media. You can follow us on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter or Facebook. And you could also follow me on my personal Letterboxd or Blue Sky account at YoJRB.
You can follow me on Twitter or Letterboxd at Shaubin.
You can find me on Letterboxd at Peter SKB.
We will be back with, we don't know quite what yet.
James and I will figure something out for next week.
Yep. Zach's out. He's going for a romantic weekend.
Yeah.
With the wife.
It's Valentine's Day.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
My wife and I are going away.
That's what you're doing.
Oh. But our anniversary is a week before Valentine's Day, so like
you just do it then. You skip.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, we acknowledge Valentine's Day, but it's yeah.
I acknowledge it. I wake up, I go, oh, it's the 14th, Valentine's Day. And then I move on. All right. So Patreon listeners, we'll see you guys over there. The rest of you, we'll see you next week. Until then, keep it cinereal.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.